flag.
You everybody join me to pledge allegiance to start our meeting tonight, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take the roll.
Alderman Demas.
Present.
Thompson.
Here.
Patak.
Here.
Reynolds.
Here.
LaVerry. Present. Jepson.
Excuse absence tonight.
Herndon.
Here.
Crane.
Here.
Mayor Grove.
Here. I'd like to start off our meeting with the public comment. Again, this is your folks' time to have your time to give any thoughts, ideas, suggestions, comments. Again, we will use hopefully time throughout the course of the council meeting to hopefully get some answers for you folks. When you come to the podium, please state your name for the record. Thank you. Anybody like to address the council tonight?
Brianne Hicks. Couple questions. Just my opinion. I didn't think it was very welcoming when I came in to be greeted by an officer. It kind of puts off a strange vibe when you walk in and you're greeted with an armed person to the city hall. Just my opinion. The street sweeper. Where is it right now? Where is the schedule for it? I know we said we were going to go ward by ward. I have not seen it in the 4th ward. I want to give a shout out though to Kev because you do answer me whenever I send you emails about any concerns or areas that need to be hit right away. So thank you for that. Overgrown property. I asked about this last year. This is now my 3rd year in a row complaining about the same property for being overgrown. It's full of poison ivy. It's stinging nettle. It's cockleburrs. It has ticks and mosquitoes. They have started cutting portions of it, but the area is still full of poison ivy that touches up against my yard and Boo's sister's home as well. I also just thought it was kind of strange that we paid to put planters out on the 4 corners, but we don't want to do a community cleanup effort. So I just don't understand how we're beautifying LaSalle in one little piece at a time, but we can't even keep it clean. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Julie Ader, and I come to address the issue with the Speedway. We actually live at 581 US Highway 6, which is directly across the street from the racetrack. Last weekend when they ran Friday night. They had the lights, and he was watering the track until 2:30 in the morning. The band did not stop until 12:30 at night. We did call the police. They said there was nothing they could do. They had a special permit, which later come to find out they did not. Saturday, same thing. Lights were on till at least 1 o'clock in the morning. They raced till 1:15. I have proof off my camera how bright these lights are insanely bright. The racetrack shakes our whole entire house. We did not purchase the property until after the racetrack closed. So therefore, we were told there would be no more racing from the previous owners. But I don't think it's fair that we should have to have our windows rattle until 2:30 in the morning, lights blasting in our house until 2:30 in the morning. So I just wanted to address that issue and give my concerns on it. Thank you.
Hello, Dina Hicks. Just want to say I come here all the time. I'm sure you all know me very well. I try to be respectful. I try to bring up questions, things that maybe not only I specifically would want to know, but the constituents of this town. It upset me that when we're listening to a finance appropriation meeting is where we find out that the city has decided they're not going to do the carnival anymore. I don't understand why this isn't something that maybe should have been a question. Hey, we're throwing this out there. We think we might not want to do this anymore, but instead we're just going to make winter for whatever specific reason. I think maybe the Christmas lights, the focus of the city of LaSalle. It's kind of interesting she brought up the Speedway because I was going to bring that up as well. I was wondering how you guys were going to address or even bring up that this is an issue when they are requesting all these extra hours up until 11 o'clock for all these days when you're so worried about the detour asking for these specific hours as well. And if we have our police officers doing intimidation, are we going to have the police sitting outside of the Speedway to make sure they don't make any noise past 10, 11 o'clock? Thank you.
Dawn Hicks. John, who do you think you are telling the engineer when he does not have permission to answer a concerned citizen's question? That's not your job. As far as the timing of people, it's only been agreed to time citizens at the beginning of the city council meeting, not during the finance meeting. We're sick and tired of rules being made up as you go. If you want people to follow your ordinances, or at least the legal ones anyways, I suggest you update them online. They are grossly outdated. Unfortunately, Joe Jepson's not here, but I did want to bring up about why is he letting his cousin, John Duncan, signal him on when he should be able to say something. That's ridiculous. Why do we even have aldermen if Mayor Grove is just going to run everything? The last meeting, when some of you had issues about changing the insurance, Mayor Grove made it very clear what he wanted. He even so arrogantly voted on it, even though the vote wasn't tied. The ordinance states that the mayor does not vote unless it ends in a tie, and he has to be the tiebreaker. Alderman, it is your job to represent the people of LaSalle and to call out everyone who breaks the ordinances, not just people the mayor doesn't like. And if you're going to be so petty and ticketing people for cussing, what about the mayor saying, quote unquote, "You're a fucking asshole, John Duncan," end quote. You all need to seriously grow a set and stand up to the BS that the mayor and financial schmuck keep doing.
Anybody else like to speak tonight?
I just have a couple more things to add. Can I?
They won't let you.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know it worked.
Your husband can come up. Yeah.
I make a motion, we give her an additional minute.
I'll second that.
Whatever time she had left.
We had a motion in a second. Take the roll.
Alderman Demas.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
LeBerry.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
For the record, I was voting no because we don't want to set a precedence here going forward, but it doesn't matter. I'm just telling my feelings.
For the record, can we get who was the second on that?
Tom,
I was.
Tom, okay.
And the motion.
you're
So
just
one
walking.
additional minute of
You're
public
walking a
comment.
slope here, gentlemen. When now you're gonna have to play God and determine who can do it, who can't do it in the future. So.
Julie Ader again. I was just reading the days and times. Like Wednesday, September 3rd, I work in a school district and I have to be at work at 6 a.m. and he wants to run till 11 o'clock and my house is shaking. And just as a suggestion to how to fix it, like I don't understand why he just can't start earlier in the day instead of 7 o'clock at night. Sorry.
Any other comment tonight? Approval of minutes.
And I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held May 27th, 2025, placed on file. Each alderman has a copy.
Second.
Motion by Reynolds, Alderman Thompson. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Discussion potential action on the following petitions.
Request from Ameren, Illinois to break ground at 1735 Malcolm Avenue to remove old underground facilities for the upgrade at Northwest Elementary School and related matters.
I move we approve Ameren's request. Second.
Motion by Alderman Thompson. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
Request from Carrie M. Izo-Dauber of LaSalle Speedway and Event Center for special event permits to allow the extension of outdoor music until 11 p.m. and increase of allowed decibel levels on Saturday, June 21st, Thursday, July 3rd, Friday, August 15th, Saturday, August 16th, Sunday, August 17th, Saturday, August 23rd, Wednesday, September 3rd, and Saturday, October 18th, all in 2025, and at their location at 578 East US Route 6 and related matters.
Point of order, do we have our authorization of the ordinance? Capping the special use permits at 8?
We have it on the agenda,
Where is that at, sir?
Second page.
second page. If you wanna go out of order?
Yeah, I'd like to see if we can go out of order. Anybody make
I
that
move we
motion?
go out of order and bring up the. what is it?
Second.
Motion by Alderman LaVerie, some Alderman Reynolds to go out of order to address the ordinance pertaining to special use permits. Please take the roll.
Alderman Thompson,
Aye.
Patak,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
LaVerie,
Aye.
Herndon,
Aye.
Crane,
Aye.
Demus.
Aye.
Thank you.
It's council's pleasure. I know we talked about this last meeting.
Well,
I think this will answer a lot of questions, and I guess I'll start off by saying I'll take full responsibility for the Speedway. I did my homework. The Speedway was actually purchased in 85, 86 and was actually racing from then on. The two subdivisions are in the south there, the third with Burgess being in Peru, were built well after the racetrack, knowing that racetrack was there. I have a friend who lives in Burgess, and I asked him how it was. He's like, well, we're used to it. Just as everybody knows, basically at COVID, that took a stop, but it still never was going to change the use. It just obviously during COVID stopped and only had a couple races since then. They now have a partner that's going to help them kind of move forward a little bit on that. And again, I guess I didn't realize totally the racetrack itself is in LaSalle, but other parts of it are not. So the racetrack would have to follow the ordinances that you gentlemen decide on tonight if we're going to do the 8, cap it at 8. Talking to some aldermen, they want to do the cap thing. They feel that the ones previous should already be kind of grandfathered in, like the 2 that we gave the detour. And if you guys cap it at 8, then detour would have an opportunity to get 8 more this year still. And then same as the racetrack. I talked to the racetrack personally after we had a meeting with them. And again, I take full responsibility for it. They think the other ones, they're going to have maybe 3 more definite races, but they're not going to have, they just asked for 11 o'clock on all 8 of them in case they have people there over hours, just to make sure they're going to be, but they're asking for the total 8 for the rest of their programming this year, which I thought was kind of makes sense. And I did also mention, I know Tuesday night when they had the grand opening, it's harder for vehicles to get here when people have their own schedules to work in, so they couldn't really start earlier. I'm assuming Wednesday, the day you're talking about, they probably can't get here any earlier, but I did ask, it's on Fridays and Saturdays, it'll be possible to start it earlier. And they said that one last week when they ran super late, they had an issue with the track. They overwatered it. They had to let it dry down. I'm not a racer guy, so I don't know how that works. But I kind of told them that there's not going to be an excuse. If you have to just stop it, you have to stop it. You know what I mean, going forward. So just to give some background, I know we had some good discussion on this last meeting. I don't know if you guys want to discuss some more, or do we want to move forward with a motion? It's up to you guys.
Well, the first thing I know is they're asking to go late on music to 11, but on the request it says event. So that means races could go to 11, not just music? Or
The special event permit is for the extension of music for the event. There'd be a special event permit for the extension of music to 11. It's not to have the event at all. It's
so
just for the extension of music.
So when is the race supposed to end? Is I guess my question, as far as how late at night.
Oh, my interpretation of this is the noise ordinance kicks in. So 10 o'clock on any other day other than 11, if we pass the ordinance, they would have the 8 days. They're asking for it 11 so they can run races up to 11 because it's going to be the noise ordinance.
But the noise ordinance applies in daytime too, right? It's 85 for industrial area. That's what
it's louder during the day than it is at night. Night hours are lower than a day. Day is louder.
Well,
Like
how high
10
does
decibels
daytime
or
go on the
something like
noise ordinance?
I got it here somewhere.
We have to be.
I think the council's been pretty cooperative on the decimal level, because we know it doesn't take much to get above that decimal level. I think most important, seems like we're really kind of concerned about the timing of the events. That's just my personal opinion from, seems like how we guys had the discussion.
Well, at that point, I would like to comment. So it doesn't mean that you should stand across the street, and if it hits at one time, that it should be violated or a ticket issued.
The decimal?
Yes.
Right, I don't think we never haven't taken anybody in decimal level.
Okay.
Do you have a record that we have?
I believe there might have been a few times.
Hours 36 after hours complaints, 18 each year.
Since the mayor brought up setting a bad precedent, if we have a law in place, but then we don't enforce it, we pick and choose when we enforce it, we're really putting ourselves behind the eight ball on that as well. So it's either 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, or it's whenever we feel like enforcing it.
Well, I think they did a pretty good job of enforcing it. Yeah,
Well, no, that
last year, didn't it?
Boo's thing was not to whack them if they go over a little bit, while they're trying to finish up. And I guess my argument would be, who makes that determination? And somebody sooner or later is going to get whacked, and when they get whacked, they're going to complain. Why me and why not?
Yeah, they went till 12:30 a.m. on Saturday in dispatch. Our Illinois Valley Regional Dispatch Police received calls.
Right, and I'm saying I take total responsibility for that, because there's miscommunication on my part with the this is kind of a, I'm not used to the racing, I'm not using an excuse, but I am gonna use an excuse, I'm not used to the racing back and being back up too. And I got calls too, and I kind of said, hey, we're addressing it. I was on the next day, I'm sure the racetrack owners were still sleeping after a long night, and I was on the phone trying to get hold of them, So we met right away, I think Monday morning, that next day.
So are we moving forward on the
Ordinance?
women?
I think it's up for discussion right now. I need a motion in a second if we're gonna do that.
Yeah, I think we just keep moving forward here with the women. That'll kind of help matters on this, and then when it goes back to the other agenda items, we can continue this discussion per situation.
Well, I think what we're doing here is we're discussing the ordinance itself. We need a motion to move it forward. Once that's in place, that's a whole nother. So whether we approve or disapprove, we request based on the ordinance.
Okay, I'll make a motion amending the Salle City Code Section 91-40, specifically Section 9147 regarding noise pollution within the city of LaSalle, Illinois, and related matters, specifically maximum of 8 special use permits in a year. Each and every alderman has a copy.
Second.
That is only 8 from this day on, right?
Correct.
Everyone starts at 0, correct?
Everybody comfortable with that?
Yes.
Everybody had so far this summer be 0. So.
Starting today.
Motion by Alderman Demus, second by Alderman Thompson. Please take the roll.
Alderman Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
LaVerry.
Aye.
Herndon.
Nay.
Crane.
Aye.
Demus.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Just as I want my constituents to know where I stand on this, I vote aye.
And just for the record, the only amendment to the ordinance that was made is that it's additionally provided in now in section 8 of that, section 8 of that there shall be no more than 8 outdoor special event noise ordinance exemption permits issued for any specific location within the city of LaSalle in any one fiscal year, which city of LaSalle fiscal year runs from May 1 through April 30th in each year.
And will that be effective now tomorrow?
Yep, yes. It would be effective, and for anyone else that's granted one after you voted on this, then anyone going forward, including, I think the mayor indicated to me too that he made it clear to the racetrack that these 8 were it for this year, if I understood correctly.
So yeah, just a comment, with that going into effect now or tomorrow after it's signed, the 2 previous events that we have had do not classify as one of the 8.
8 going forward.
Yep.
8 going
Detour
forward
can
is
come
what
in next meeting. Jordan, that's right. Yep. I think
we're starting every business over at 8.
as long as we haven't had an issue with them that would say something from other reason that we don't know, they would have the option to ask for 8.
Good.
I think that's a fair compromise. I appreciate you guys working through on that. Let's resume back to a request from Ms. Dauber.
I'd like to say a few things here. So I was in contact with somebody that works at the racetrack, not one of the owners, but one of the people that works there. And what happened, I was a week ago Friday, I believe it was, or Saturday night, is they wet the track down too much and they couldn't run the races. So they were having the trucks and, like track trucks run around and trying to dry it off. And when they finally got it to where they could run it, it was 10:30 at night, and it was like a one-time event. They said that, it was a mistake how they prepared the track, and it would never go there. I know what you're going through because I live 50 feet from a bar that has outside music every Friday and Saturday. Right. I leave the house every Friday and Saturday. You go by my house, all my windows are boarded up. All right. The only place I see sun is when I go out on the porch. But that's what I had to adapt because they have a bar across the alley, and legally they can have music. All right. The previous owner was terrible. They were basically trying to drive everybody out of the neighborhood. The people that own Detour right now have been very welcome, trying to get along with the neighbors. And we've got to work and, they don't blow the music out during the day. I still have to leave on Friday and Saturday, but that's because I have a bar. I know what you're going through out there, and I know how you feel, but it's a business, and as long as they're shut down the noise at 10 o'clock, the music at 10 o'clock, or at 11 o'clock with special use permit, they're within their rights. Now, if they go over that, call IVRD and complain, and they'll get a ticket. But I'll be honest with you. I went through 2 years of it. I know what it's like. It's horrible.
So one thing too, this is a change for the Speedway, obviously, right? From like 85 till now, they never had to worry about that. It was never actually brought this formal issue. But people's point is we have to be consistent all the way around the board, right? And that was one thing was brought up. I know some people brought up, why were you guys worried about Detroit? You're not worried about the racetrack. Well, we are worried about the racetrack too. We're worried about all areas of LaSalle, City Clerk.
So let's go back to discussing this here, because I'm sure they're looking for the answer. So with the special use permit, that means that they can have increased decibels up to, I believe the limit is 90, and they can have.
Let me have City Clerk Liz read that again.
Okay.
Just so we know we're back on what we're talking about.
Request from Carrie M. Izo-Dauber of LaSalle Speedway and Event Center for special event permits to allow the extension of outdoor music until 11 p.m. and increase of allowed decibel readings on Saturday, June 21st, Thursday, July 3rd, Friday, August 15th, Saturday, August 16th, Sunday, August 17th, Saturday, August 23rd, Wednesday, September 3rd, and Saturday, October 18, all in 2025, and all at their location at 578 East US Route 6 and related matters.
The only point of order I would say is you guys kind of touched on it's not just music. It would be racing.
Okay.
I would recommend that these are done individually because there is a Sunday, August 17th, which they're requesting till 11 p.m. There's a Wednesday, September 3rd, that they're requesting till 11 p.m. This young lady out here, she made a great point of what's going on. I received the calls from the people from the Gulf View. I know what they told me.
Is that your motion?
Well, yes, I would like to say that we would vote on these individual dates.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Herndon, second by Alderman Thompson. Please take the roll.
Alderman Reynolds.
Aye.
LaVerie.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Nay.
Demus.
Nay.
Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Nay.
Motion passes 4-3.
Does that pass, or do we need?
Well, I think that just so that there's a clarity to have a majority of the concurrent If it were an ordinance, it would definitely have to have 5 sitting people. There could be a dispute in opinion.
I mean, for the record, I'll vote nay, and that would be 4-4. I think, gentlemen, if you have an idea where you want to have all the other 6 there and leave those 2 out, let's do it that way. I mean, it's for a matter of timing. I don't think everybody wants to vote on every one of them.
You're right.
So Alderman Hearn, if you say, hey, I want to go ahead and allow all 6 except for those 2 dates in motion, then make that motion.
That would be my motion is, let's talk it over with the Speedway, see if they can adjust that Sunday and that Wednesday possible, and vote for the other ones instead, and not vote with them too.
So you're asking to have a vote right now on only the 6 dates out of the 8, and you're excluding, as I understood it, it was September 3rd, and was the other one August 17th?
Correct, until we have more discussion.
All right, so you're asking at this point to move forward with the motion to pass, or is your motion to pass 6 of the 8 or to vote on 6 of the 8?
To pass 6 of the 8.
All right, motion to pass 6 of the 8, the ones listed with the exception of August 17th and September 3rd. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Alderman Herndon, second by Alderman Jordan Crane. Please take the roll.
Alderman LaVerry,
Aye.
Herndon,
Aye.
Crane,
Aye.
Demus,
Aye.
Thompson,
Aye.
Patak,
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Brent, will you be able to follow up with the racetrack for us? Thank you.
Yes.
Good discussion, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate it.
That doesn't mean they can't come back and ask for the other 2.
All right.
That hasn't been voted on yet, but at least they won't be considered tonight.
We'll notify them of the vote that was made today, and then
Yeah, I think it's fair to ask them if they could adjust their timing on those dates or maybe reschedule.
Because even with the bars, it's usually Friday and Saturdays. And the Thursday here is July 3rd before the 4th.
Yeah. Reports to city officers.
Building inspector's report for May 2025 showing total fees collected of $4,179.50 with total value of construction of $689,638.
Your Honor, I make a motion we approve the building inspector's report for May 2025 as read.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Reynolds, second by Alderman Thompson. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Mr. and Mrs. Ayer, you guys can leave. It won't hurt feelings if you have other stuff to do tonight. If you want to stay, feel free to.
Treasurer's report for May 2025 showing total cash balances in LaSalle State Bank of $9,353,658.22 and in Hometown National Bank of $7,970,348.61.
Your Honor, I move that we accept the treasurer's report as read, placed on file, as each and every alderman have a copy.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Patak, second by Alderman LaVerry. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried.
Monthly police income report for May 2025 showing total fees collected of $7,981.94.
Your Honor, I move that we accept and place on file the monthly police income report for May 2025.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Herndon, second by Alderman Crane. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Communications. Bids. Appointments and resignations. Gentlemen, I have some appointments for you to hopefully confirm tonight. We have some folks leaving the library. Mark Ziglis is leaving the library board with family obligations. I know his family's getting older and they're in band and sports and all that good stuff, as much of us can relate to. So I asked we replace Mr. Mark Ziglis, thinking the first time, with Sue Opsel. We all know Sue and her husband Steve. Planning and Zoning Board. We're going to thank Mr. Thompson, Mr. Ketter, Mr. Spare, Mr. Fletty, and Miss Gardner for their service. They've asked a chance to resign. They've been on the board for a long time. Dale Tiemann, James Brady III, Jessica DeGance, Kathy Tomlinson, Panawaniki, Sergio Sanchez, and Kathy Williams have all agreed to be on that planning and zoning committee. So again, we're going to have, they said they do both. So if we're going to do just one, but they said they're good for both.
Just a point of information, question on that. I know, I'm not sure, I know Gardner was only on one of the two committees. I don't know if any of the others are on both or not. And I'm not sure, I think we have enough vacancies that these could all come on both.
We do have enough vacancies that these can all go on. Yeah, and I imagine that if June Gardner should have done one, that this person replacing quote unquote June Gardner would then go on both, which would also there'd still be a space there.
Okay. So all of these, just so we're clear, all of these appointments would go on to, both the zoning board of appeals and the planning commission then. Is that the intention, Mayor, of your
Correct.
request?
Don, I move that we approve your appointments to the zoning board of appeal and planning commission. Each and every one has a copy.
And that's the library as well, too.
And the library board. Thanks.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Demus, second by Alderman Reynolds. Please take the roll.
Alderman Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Demus.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laverie.
I move that we accept the name resignations.
Yes, thank you.
Second.
Their terms are up, so it wasn't like.
Yeah.
But no, I guess, do we officially do that? Do we need to accept the resignations of the folks?
I think it would be traditionally respectful. If the terms are up, technically no, but.
Yeah, let's do that just to honor them. Motion by Alderman Laverie, second by Alderman Herndon to officially accept the resignations and with regret and appreciate their time. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Standing committees.
Discussion and potential action on recommendation of Finance Committee regarding a potential one-time donation to the Illinois Valley Food Pantry and related matters.
Your Honor, the Finance Committee voted to recommend a donation of $5,000 one time to the Illinois Valley Food Pantry and related matters.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Patak, second by Alderman Laverie to accept the Finance Committee's recommendation. Please take the roll.
Alderman Crane.
Nay.
Demus.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laverie.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Special committees, old business.
Authorization of payment number 2 and final for VJF Contracting Corporation totaling $1,440 for work completed to date on Rotary Park Phase 4 pickleball lighting project and related matters.
I move that we approve authorization of payment number 2 and final for VJF contracting on the pickleball court at Rotary Park.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Laverie, second by Alderman Reynolds. Please take the roll.
Alderman Demus.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laverie.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Authorization of pay request number 3 for Viscering Construction Company totaling $32,263.60 for work completed to date on East Wastewater Treatment Plant Gate Replacement Project and related matters.
Your Honor, make a motion, we approve the payment request number 3 for Viscering Construction Company for work done on the East Wastewater Treatment Plant. And I guess it's a gate replacement.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Reynolds, second by Alderman Demus. Please take the roll.
Alderman Thompson.
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laverie.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Discussion and potential action, including potential referral to Planning Commission of consideration of whether to amend the text of the LaSalle zoning ordinance regarding assisted living homes and or nursing homes in the city of LaSalle and related matters.
This would start the process, gentlemen, just to look into it. Again, it doesn't have to affect our R1, but it will allow this in the R1 if they up to the licenses and everything they need to do to dot the I's and cross their T's. Just so you know, the subsequent one below this, next one, those people have officially withdrawn that. But I think it might still be good on our part. This is your decision if we want to go forward and be ready for that. I think the need for this type of housing is not going to go away. Probably going to even increase. Might be that way we're going to be ready already. If anybody else comes in and wants to do that, it's your guys' call.
Your Honor, I make a motion that we refer this to the Planning Commission, the consideration of whether or not amend the text of LaSalle zoning regarding assisted living and or nursing homes in the city of LaSalle and related matters.
I'll second that.
Motion by Alderman Thompson, second by Alderman Patak. Please take the roll.
Alderman Patak.
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Laveri.
Aye.
Herndon.
Aye.
Crane.
Aye.
Demus.
Aye.
Thompson.
Aye.
Trudy McFadden, we could just skip over the next one, is that correct?
Yes, yes. No action.
I have a couple things under old business. Kevin, can you follow up and maybe try to get a schedule out? I actually saw the city approve, put a schedule out that today or this week, the street sweeper will be south of 4th Street. I mean, if we can get something like that to obviously saying there, obviously it's going to be determining on weather, determining on needs. If there's a, something comes up like a motor main break, that might not be the case. But then we can try to get that out too. I think that'd be a good way to do it. I know it's a manpower thing too. If you have too many people off, obviously we can't run at that time. Does that work, Kev?
Yeah, that
Sounds like you're communicating that already.
Yeah, we are. Just so everyone is aware, we're in the 3rd ward right now. I'm trying to run mainly on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, opening up Monday and Tuesday for other jobs. But it is out. I believe we're halfway through 3rd ward, but we'll get something out and posted.
I also want to kind of touch base on some beautification and cleanup. Perfectly Flawed Foundation, Mr. Tomsha, they do that usually annually, sometimes twice a year in the spring. And we'll do is basically contact the city, obviously, and see if there's any volunteers that want to join them. But what they're going to do is get their team out there, try to clean up some stuff. They leave the bags for us. They tell the city, hey, can you pick up these bags for us and dispose them for us? And we do that, right? We're hand in hand with them, not necessarily the one driving it, but we're going to assist them with it. I want to also recognize LBA, same thing. Usually in the summertime and also before their last event, Jasmine Street, Barbecue and Blues, they'll have a cleanup day and they'll leave all the bags after they clean through. So it's not something that obviously we had to drive, but we'll be willing to help whatever we can. And obviously people want to drive. In the past, I know Jordan, I think you participated in some neighborhood ones up there. But again, I think it's good to see some people take the bull by the horns and kind of direct that and lead those projects. And I guess we'd be glad to do that with any project that would be brought up. Want to just talk about a little bit, like we all kind of know that it was kind of brought up that maybe the police was I heard it brought up today about harassing. The Beck's at 3rd and Buckland is obviously a heavy traveled road, so it's a heavy traveled area, and it's fine to have police coverage there. We see main streets in towns I drive through all the time where you're going to see some police officer presence, and sometimes not just at night. It could be any time during the day. I wish I had Brian here could give me a count, but I bet you we have 5,000 cars drive through there a day. You know what I mean? So it's not unheard of to have police officers at that location or other main locations in town where there's a lot of traffic. And obviously there's a lot of business going in and out of Beck's as well. So I just want to clarify that. Nobody was asked to place vehicles anywhere in particular to make it a situation where they're trying to intimidate. My own personal thoughts is if I know I'm going to go to a bar and I'm going to drink too much, or else I'm going to have a friend who drinks too much, I'm going to make sure we have somebody to cover us so it's not a concern. I can wave to any officers I see because I'm going to have a designated driver, or else I'm going to walk home or find other accommodations. So anybody who's worried about going too far because they see a police officer probably shouldn't be going to that bar. Jeff Grove's own personal opinion on that. And I just want to say it's been amazing. I think for Facebook, this time of year we see graduations, we see a lot of academics shout outs, we see a lot of sporting shout outs, and it's been amazing. Maybe these things have always been going on, especially Tom, you know more than I do. But the representation in this area as far as academics and track and softball and baseball has just been amazing. So, kind of a shout out to our local high school and junior high students for other accolades, including band and stuff, because it's been amazing. You should see everything on Facebook. So Facebook's definitely a good thing to get some word out to people who might not realize what's going on. It's not just LaSalle, it's LaSalle, Peru-Oglesby, Spring Valley, the whole Northern Valley area. So, any other old business?
Yes, I have something. Since we did this special request and noise ordinance and stuff like that, we have a lot of people who do construction work. Me and Mike have been dealing with the same person. I believe Jordan got the call also. There's construction work going on in various areas in the summertime, such as roofing and stuff like that. They like to start early. The weather hasn't been all that bad as of right now. There's also people such as people that win, that Universal, Pohars itself, and various others that like to start early on construction. And this is also gonna vary to them on projects that they have going on. Because we have received calls, this week about something in the fourth ward. Mike dealt with the gentleman, I dealt with the gentleman, Jordan dealt with the gentleman, and hopefully they move their starting time back. But this is gonna happen a lot for construction by everyone when they start earlier in the morning.
I believe that just goes back to our city ordinance, and correct me if I'm mistaken, but it does say 7 a.m.
It does.
So, like when the city workers start early, we always, kind of start at the shop early, make sure we're not out making noise at 7 or before 7, unless it is an emergency situation, like a water main break, then you're gonna, that could be at any hour of the night. It's just something that contractors just need to be respectful of the citizens.
Yeah, I appreciate Mike kind of heading that off. I know you guys probably followed up with that gentleman as well.
I got a text that morning from someone complaining about it, so I went down to his house. There was several issues. A couple of the contractors were sitting in his yard eating their lunch, which is pretty much unacceptable. I wouldn't want that either. The skid steer being moved at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning to prepare things. I understand that too. Tried to work it out. I spoke with the engineer for the veterans home. I took his number down. He kind of knows what's going on with the complainant about it, and he was going to kind of talk to his guys. And the only good thing is the trucks that were parked on the road. Technically, they're parked legally on the road. However, he doesn't have anywhere else to park, and I understand it. He's got his driveway, so I just said, "Hey, can you guys physically move your trucks down the road just a little bit to a parking lot and then physically walk back, just to keep parking spaces open?" They are in the process of finishing up that part of the roof in the next week and a half, and there won't be any more activity in terms of noise on that side. It'll be more on the west side where there's an open field over that way. So we'll see how it goes from there. But as far as the starting, we'll just gauge it and see how it goes. 7 o'clock in the morning is 7 o'clock in the morning. I guess that would go for garbage trucks and everything. So.
Any other old business, gentlemen? New business.
Yeah, I have some. I've had several complaints about vegetation overgrown into the alleys. And I drove, 10 days ago, I drove most of the third ward, and I assume the other wards are the same. There's 3, 4 spots in every alley where people just let the vegetation grow in. Trying to drive around the block and determine the address of the house for each one for Dennis is kind of difficult. So I don't know if we can send out a general warning that people are responsible for keeping the alleyways clear behind their homes, or what?
I would say also, Doc, and Alderman, if you know specific alleys, let's say it's north-south alley between, Lindbergh and Maple and Illinois and, Argyle, just send it out. Our guys can probably
I would think it
trim
was
that back a little
9
bit.
out every 10 alleys I drove down.
Okay, well, that might be too
you know?
many, yeah.
So it's, yeah.
You see a lot of vegetation, like people have fence in the alley, and it overgrows the fence. So
Yeah.
that'd be an ordinance violation.
Yeah, it is, but even for Dennis to have to go around ticking them all, and when I'm driving, I'm trying to look at the house and then trying to determine the house and on the
You
other
gotta
side.
get your GPS out, Doc. It'll tell you right where you're at.
Alderman, why don't you wite these locations down? I've got
It's almost every alley.
write them down.
Well, I don't know.
John, write them down. Just get them to me, and I'll break them down for the guys, and we'll
Okay.
get them straightened out. Just get them to me, one at a time. We'll work with it.
Okay.
Um,
You just want the general alley? Then?
yeah, give me the general alley, and I'll find out whose house is attached to it, and we'll
Okay, when I have time,
we'll
I'll drive
attack it from
again.
there.
You guys probably have the same problems in your wards.
I had the same problem when I plowed those alleys.
How many years ago was that? Any other new business? Guess I just want to touch base on maybe the police officer is a new thing. And I requested that police officer to be here, and it's not a matter of intimidation. It's just unfortunately we've had a need for it in the past. You could look at some of our meetings, and we've had a need for it, and it's going to be a safety value for everybody, just to make sure that it's all a good situation. My responsibility is make sure everybody in this building is safe at all times, and that you guys are safe when you're in here. So again, it's not supposed to be an intimidation factor. If anything, it should make you hopefully feel a little better. But again, it's a personal choice. But that's why that person's in here, just to respond to any kind of issue that might come up. And also, point of order, I believe maybe Attorney McFedrin, you can correct me. I think the ordinance we have on public comment applies to any meeting we have for public comment.
The
So,
ordinance on public comment, I believe it's I'd have to check to be 100% sure, but my recollection is the time period of public comment applies to all city meetings, whether it's city council and committee meetings.
yeah. So that's nothing new. That's just across the board. I know when we have IVRD meetings, we have public comment, and it is what it is, and that's our time to speak, and we move on. So I think it's pretty much that way in all boards that have official meetings. So
I think some may have gone a public practice of having the comment at the end rather than the beginning, but the time frame involved is to be the same for 3 minutes.
and I think we've changed it to the beginning because we want people to have chances to talk about stuff that we've talked about in the beginning of the meeting. We necessarily haven't just kept it to that. We let people talk about anything they want to, but that was our purpose to move in the beginning is to try to everybody have a chance to chime in on the subjects that be voted on that day. So,
Brian, are you talking about that house on Porter on the south side of the road? Just call me. Send me an email too. I mean, we tackled that last year and got a lot cleaned up there. I mean, I even got the guy worker to go over there and help clean it out because he didn't have nobody because he has a hard time walking. So, but yeah. He cleaned that backyard out pretty good compared to what it was. It was a jungle. I agree. However, just call. It could save you the time. And we're out there. I check these neighborhoods as much as any, but it's unfortunately there's a lot of it everywhere. Huh? Right. No, but he was a target for a while. I mean, we were checking on it, and we got a lot of it cleaned up because he had it all pulled to the curb. I saw it. So I think he called the city to have that hauled away.
thank you,
So
Chief.
we'll take care of it though. Just maybe remind me, send me an email. He's been busy, but he was off on vacation for a little bit. But he's been hitting it hard too. He kind of goes after the heavy duty ones and tries to take care of all that. But we're making our rounds with it. I got about 3 or 4 that come through my desk every day from Dennis. So, and they're good. But yeah, just call and I get calls from other people about it. Don't, give me a holler. I don't bite. All right.
Do want to follow up on one more thing, just so everybody officially knows, John does keep track of the clock for us. So when we have situations where city staff or an alderman or myself will chime in on somebody's time, John has to determine then, do I need to add 20 seconds? Do I need 10 seconds? So we've kind of had a practice to let everybody have their 3 minutes. If they choose to have 3 minutes or their 2 minutes, where they choose, so we don't have to worry about John playing, check the NBA record of the replay of when timeout was called and when it wasn't, right? So that way it just keeps it across the board. So I will also look at John for kind of the nod as far as our time. So it's not gonna be, if you ever see me doing that, that's why I'm doing it, because John is our official timekeeper. So just so everybody knows for the record. Discussion potential action on the following additional ordinances and resolutions.
An ordinance authorizing memorandum of agreement by and between Reach Strategies, a California corporation, and the City of LaSalle and related matters.
This is an ordinance related to potential for a grant from the city by a memorandum of agreement with Reach and Ameren is involved. This ordinance authorizes the city to enter into it. There's still a few things we're inquiring in, but I think that the city council, I think the economic development directors recommended it favorably, and the mayor and the city engineer and the director of economic development would still have the right to jointly approve any changes and or to decide not to go forward with it. But if the council passes this and the grant is available, we might get in line earlier by acting on it now rather than delaying it another couple of weeks. Although it will still take time to implement. So I think it'd be appropriate to consider, we've done this in the past with some others, give city council the authorization to move forward, subject to the approval of the mayor and this ordinance has in it the director of economic development and the city engineer to approve any changes. And of course, our office would be involved in those as well. In fact, we're the ones that have requested that they take a look and see if they could modify it some. But everybody I've talked to so far on this suggests there is no downside to the city. It gives an opportunity to potentially get a grant for about $50,000 for electrical energy, which of course everyone is interested in getting. Addition by electrical energy, it could be another charging station or two, depending on how much they cost, and or some other things related to electrical energy.
Okay, so I move that we authorize authorize the mayor in consultation with the city attorney, city engineer, and city economic to move ahead on the possible memorandum agreement between Reach Strategies and the city of LaSalle in related matters.
Second.
Motion, Bauman, Laveri, second, Bauman, Reynolds. Please take the roll.
This is authorizing entering, having the ordinance passed as indicated.
Alderman Reynolds,
Aye.
Laveri,
Aye.
Herndon,
Aye.
Crane,
Aye.
Demus,
Aye.
Thompson,
Aye.
Patak.
Aye.
The next ordinance has already been acted on by the city in regard to the noise special events. And by the way, just to remind everyone, that has to do with events in regard to the noise ordinance. That is totally separate from events in regard to food truck ordinance and food truck limits on people.
An ordinance amending the LaSalle City Code to further specifically regulate philanthropic monetary donations by the city of LaSalle and related matters.
Your Honor, we already voted on this. We took it out over. No, not this one.
Not
No.
this one.
This is the donation one.
This is for the total ordinance, not for just the food pantry exceptions.
Pardon me.
You making a motion to accept it?
Yes.
Second.
Motion, Bauman, Thompson, second, Bauman, Demus. Well, I know Alderman Thompson's been big into this whole, this particular subject. Please take the roll on the monetary, do you guys want to discuss it all? You guys come up with? Are we comfortable with it? Okay.
I believe each alderman has a copy.
Could you repeat the second, please?
Okay.
Alderman Demus.
Thank you.
Second,
Second, yeah.
Alderman Thompson and second by Alderman Demus.
Thank you.
Take the roll.
Alderman Laveri,
Aye.
Herndon,
Aye.
Crane,
Aye.
Demus,
Aye.
Thompson,
Aye.
Patak,
Aye.
Reynolds.
Aye.
Thank you.
And again, for the record, let the council and the public know I vote aye on this. I think you guys did a nice job of finding a happy medium. Thank you. No need for executive session tonight, guys. Approval of bills.
Total submitted $642,770.52.
Your Honor, I move that we accept, pay, and file the bills, if each and every alderman have a copy.
Second.
Motion, Bauman of the tax. I'm on Laveri. All in favor? I'm sorry.
Aye.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to take the roll on that one. My bad. One more time, roll.
Alderman Herndon,
Aye.
Crane,
Aye.
Demus,
Aye.
Thompson,
Aye.
Patak,
Aye.
Reynolds,
Aye.
Laveri.
Aye.
Make a motion for adjournment?
Hold on a minute, I thought we were going around and do comments, but I got something to say. All right, I have a similar situation with high grass, high weeds and stuff. So where I live, it takes me less than 5 minutes to cut my grass. And as much as I like to cut grass, I say it's 5 minutes waste out of my life. But I currently cut 3 other properties because 2 neighbors are unable to do it because of one just had a bypass. So with their permission, I say, you mind me if I cut your grass? So I'm cutting 4 lawns now, not because I love to do it, but because I want my neighborhood to do it. So maybe in your case, if you're looking to beautify the city, you can find some volunteers, maybe high school kids, or maybe yourself or somebody in the neighborhood that you could ask this person that it sounds like he's disabled and can't clean his lot, that clean it for him. And well, nobody lives in one of the properties I'm cutting either, but I don't want to look at it that way. Well, I got poison ivy where I'm at too. I just cut it out. Wear long pants and long.
Any other thoughts on this? Any other comments on this?
Yes, I have.
That's just my part. I'm not singling anybody out, but
Alderman
I'm
Reynolds.
just saying what I do in my instance.
One of the other points I'd like to make is the building inspector who goes around and checks all these things has the whole city to worry about. Each of us are worried about our own ward, of course, and folks like yourself, I know that you're worried in your ward. But unless somebody brings it up, we can't be checking every single day, even though the grass grows faster every day. But we appreciate you calling and letting us know.
Thank you, Alderman. Gentlemen?
My only comment is we had a good fishing tournament down at the
Yes.
canal on Saturday, and a lot of pictures in today's News Tribune. And
Yeah,
yeah,
it was nice.
I heard that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Walmart was
the
very.
weather was beautiful.
Nice event.
Very extending to us. Walmart was.
We hope that, you know, if you, come up to retirement age and continue to do that after.
Yeah, I might even volunteer. I might volunteer. Sergeant Quinn he still hangs it out, and I got a ton of respect for him. He comes down there still, and last year John and Brent helped out. So it is fun. I've been doing this with Rob when he was chief. And, we have a lot of good times down
The
there.
kids are something else. They're all happy down there that day.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
You're right. Hot dog eating contest. That's for sure.
Chief, anything else for you? Anything else?
No. I'll talk to that guy tomorrow, Brian, and I'll talk to Dennis. And he can pay people. I know that. He works. I mean, it's just a matter of right. He might need some Roundup. Right. I get it. Trust me, you don't want to blow in the wind either. But maybe I'll suggest get some Roundup sprayed on it all.
Finance Director Duncan. Clerk Liz Bishop.
No, Mayor.
Yeah.
Fred Bader.
Nothing, Mayor.
Chief Janet. Superintendent.
Nothing further, Mayor.
Economic Director. Attorney Federer.
Nothing further,
All
Mayor.
right. Motion for adjournment.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion by Alderman Reynolds, second by Alderman Craig, I believe. All in favor?
Aye.
Against, motion carries.